Hello, beautiful sisters. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited. I want to talk to you tonight about me going back to work, right? Going back to work after 18 days off, right? For winter vacation. Now, I don't know if you have a job where you've taken vacation or taken some time off for the holidays, but I just want to talk to you, just some real talk today, right? So, and of course, I always have to bring in faith and finances into the situation, right? Today, I have a topic that many of you might be able to relate to, especially if you're in that stage of life where you're thinking about what comes next, right? Like I said, I had 18 days off for vacation, right? I had 14 days off, and then that was sandwiched in between 2 weekends. And it gave me kind of a glimpse of what it will be like for retirement. So many of us are in that stage of trying to figure out what comes next, and that's around retirement, financial freedom, or just next steps, creating purpose in our life in this season over 50. So let me take a deep breath for a moment. Grab your pen, grab some paper, and let's take some notes. So again, I just came back from a 2-week vacation. Yes, 2 weeks. And let me tell you, it has been a true adjustment coming back to the grind, right? After time off. And I want to talk to you about what it's like to go back to work after time off and how it feels, knowing that you still have a few years before officially retiring, right? I have about 6 years before officially retiring. There's some major pros and cons that come with time off. And today, let's look at that a little bit. And as a bonus at the end, I want to share 5 ways to start preparing financially right now before you officially retire. Before you officially retire. So I also want to talk about the best investments such as stocks, real estate, and other opportunities that are important for you in 2025. Again, grab a cup of coffee, grab some tea, grab a pen and some paper. We won't be here long. In segment 1, let's look at the pros and the cons of being off for 2 whole weeks. um, so I hope that you were able to take a little break too over the holidays. 2 weeks of no work, woo, that means 14, actually 18 days of freedom. But, when you add in those weekends and the extra time, right? You had those days of weekend bliss included. Sounds like heaven, right? Sounds really good. Well, let me share some of the pros and cons of taking that much time off. And maybe you'll be able to relate to this as well. So, especially when you've been in the workforce for a really, really long time and you take that much deserved break, it is hard to get in the mindset of going back. But it also gets you thinking about retirement. What is it going to be like? Is this going to be how it is when I retire? So number one, this is one of the pros of taking time off. Taking 2 weeks off gave me a lot of time to really rest. Rest is so important. Now, don't get me wrong. It's important to, honor that time of rest, right? We say honor the Sabbath and take regular time to rest. Very, very important. But 2 weeks, for me, that was pure joy. I got to spend quality time with family. I got to catch up on my reading. I got to do the activities that I absolutely love and do the things that truly, truly fill my soul while I was off. Rest is so necessary for us to be able to do life well. We're like hamsters on that wheel, right? And we get to running And we forget how important it is to rest and how much rest we really need, right? And the way we're created, women oftentimes, right? We think we have to go because we're always nurturing, but sometimes we have to stop and nurture ourselves and rest. Number two, new perspectives. Time off gives you new perspectives. Sometimes we need a break to see our work or the work that we do in a new light, right? After 2 weeks off, I came back with some fresh new ideas that I want to try out. I came back with more energy. I came back with a renewed sense of purpose. Hold on. Excuse me. Sometimes, hold on one second. But I also came back with this pesky cough. Anyway, let me keep going. Sometimes we're so wrapped up in the day-to-day grind, we forget what we're doing, why we're doing it, and we just keep doing it, right? Taking time away allows us to step back, allowed me to step back to get a chance to reflect on my true purpose. Purpose is so important, right? What is your purpose? What is your mission? When you have that time to slow down, then you can focus on that. Number three, freedom to explore your passions. This one is really, really important. Sometimes we forget, right? When we're off, we get to do the things that we absolutely love. Excuse me. Things you don't often have time for, right? Things I don't have time for. It could be gardening. For me, while I was off, it was pretty cold and lots of wind, lots of rain. And I have big trees in my yard. So not so much gardening, more gathering the leaves that were in the yard. But painting, I did paint a few. Hold on. Excuse me. I did paint like 3 pictures, so that was exciting. So I have some new art on my wall. But cooking a new recipe, of course, a lot of cooking happening while I was off, right? I perfected my grandmother's sweet potato pie recipe and had time to do that. Sometimes when I'm working, I feel like so drained when I get home from work from working with kids all day, right? So it's more of just prepping simple things, not all out cooking, right? So also it gives you time to have a getaway, right? Whether you get away or staycation, it gives you some time. So there's something about having freedom that sparks creativity and also joy, right? Which now let's go to some of the cons about having having that time off, right? Whew, number one of that would be the back to work blues. The back to work blues, right? Okay, here's the thing. Coming back is tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. It is tough, right? After 2 weeks of freedom, going back to my W-2 job left me feeling just a little heavy, blessed that I have this great job, but also, whew, it's not that I don't enjoy what I do. It's just the transition from freedom to structure. It can be a little bit jarring. Okay. So that back to work feeling, it's real. It's really real. And let's not even talk about, the emails and all of that, getting back into the routine, getting the kids back into the routine, right? Number two of the cons, the challenge of routine. Now, I am not one, when my alarm goes off, generally my body wakes up the time I need to be up anyway. I'm an early riser. And if I do have an alarm set, I am not a snooze person. 2 days back so far, do you know, I have hit the snooze button both days. The first day I got up, I made my bed, and I got right back in it, right? And pulled the covers up and slept for another 30 minutes. Excuse me. So, excuse me. So the challenge of routine, Ooh, it's tough. Getting back into a routine after 2 weeks off isn't always easy, right? You have to find your flow. You have to get back into the flow. And this can be a little bit difficult, but you do it. The other thing is there's a challenge, right? There's just a challenge. It's just knowing that you're back on that grind, right? It makes you think, ooh, is this really what I want to be doing for the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years? Right? You do question yourself a bit, right? Number three, FOMO, but not in the way you would think. This is fear of missing out on free time, right? You start thinking about, what am I missing out by being here at the office? Being off gave me a taste of the lifestyle that I might or that I will one day have. So I might have time for hobbies, right? I might have time to do the things that really nourish my soul, right? I might have time to do what I want to do and wake up at the time I want to wake up, right? So that realization, it can make going back to a W-2 job feel a little bit like a reminder of, ooh, how many more years do I have to do this? Right? So let me tell you, it is time to prepare financially for retirement, right? This is the time. I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind. With this time off and with going back, it really makes me think about preparing financially for retirement. That is so important. And not enough people actually prepare for retirement. You don't want to work forever, right? I know some of you are thinking, I'm not ready to retire yet. I understand, but you do want to prepare for retirement. And let me give you 5 ways that you can start. 5 ways that you can start prepping for retirement right now, whether you're a few years out or just thinking about it for the future, right? Because you never know. Start contributing to a retirement account now, right? If you are already, fantastic. But if you are not, start contributing to a retirement account right now. Okay. If you have not been contributing to your 401k, IRA, or other retirement accounts, then get it started. Even if you could only put away just a little bit, even if you could only put away just a little bit each month, it is so, so important. And that little bit adds up over time. So the sooner you start, the better. Let me give you a scripture here. Proverbs 21:5. It tells us, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Planning ahead is key here, right? You want to make sure that you're paying off any high interest debt. Do you have high interest debt? Debt is like a weight around your ankles, right? It's pulling us down. So if you're carrying high interest debt, credit cards, personal loans, now is the time to work on paying that off. Very, very important. When paying off debt, high interest debt, that gives you more money to put away in investments, okay? Build a cash reserve for yourself. This is the next one. Build a cash reserve for yourself. You want to make sure that you have that emergency fund that covers at least 6 months worth of living expenses if needed, right? Life is unpredictable, as we know. So having a cushion gives a little bit of peace of mind, right? It's like having a little retirement warm up, making sure that you're financially stable now, right? You want to get used to having that, right? You don't want to be in struggle mode when you're in retirement. And you also don't want to be working forever, right? So, look into Passive income streams. What can you do? How can you look into passive income streams? Are you able to possibly invest in real estate, stocks, side businesses that can generate passive income, right? What is it that you can do? Can you work extra hours, or come up with something that is needed at your job that you're already at and get paid for that, right? Definitely looking for ways to earn extra money is key to more freedom in your retirement, right? And then number 5, or the last one here, diversify your investments. If you're investing, and you've probably heard this so many times, but I'm going to say it again. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification is very, very important, and it's essential for building long-term wealth. Okay. So let's talk about stocks, real estate investments for 2025. Stocks, real estate investments for 2025. Now, when we're talking about investments, I want to share a couple of tips on where you might want to put your money, right? Now, I am not a financial advisor, right? I just go by, personal things that I've done, right? So, of course, I like tech companies. I like healthcare. I like renewable energy. These are some areas for stocks, right? There's the S&P. Um, Definitely, this is a good place to meet with a financial advisor, okay? Also, I like dividend paying stocks, right? I like the idea of being able to reinvest the dividends back into stocks so that I can accelerate my wealth building, right? Also, of course, there's bonds, right? Depending on municipal bonds, different kinds of bonds, corporate bonds. But again, you have to speak with a financial advisor on that part. So, coming back to work after 2 weeks, whew, it's a real adjustment, right? I find that because I've been struggling also with this little cough, and I've done so many things for it, and it's not as bad as it was, but it's still kind of lingering a bit. That also makes me want to not necessarily be at work where I talk all day long, right? I facilitate learning, and sometimes the kids are talking, but for the most part, I'm talking, right? And so I'm sure that exacerbates the tickle a little bit more. But anyway, the freedom that we crave can be achieved. It will be achieved, but it has to be achieved with thoughtful planning along the way so that we can invest in our future. And we can start investing in our future today, right? We don't have to wait. We can actually do it now. So remember, this is so important for you. Remember, you do not have to wait until retirement to start living the life you want. You can actually start building towards that right now with faith, with wisdom, with action. You can start building the future that you dream of now, which is so, so, so important. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this information helpful in any way, don't forget to hit the like button, comment with your thoughts. I want to know what you are thinking. I want to know what you want to know about as well. I love teaching. So if there's anything that you have questions about or comments, please feel free to leave. I'd love to build a community of us like-minded individuals who are over 50 and we just want to live our best life, right? And so definitely, if you want to know more about practical advice on living, practical advice on purpose, practical advice on faith and abundance, please reach out. Please reach out. And if you'd like to dive deeper into faith and finances, grab a copy of my book, 21 Days of Faith, Finding Your Purpose. And the other one, let's talk about finance for women. We also do coaching every Saturday. So definitely reach out. But until then, keep the faith and be blessed. Thank you.